Hi, everyone. It's great to be here with you again for the latest episode of Get on the Grid with Chessie Roberts. My guest tonight is Charleen, and I hope I say your name right, Armitage? Is that right?
That's right. Yes, but I'm known for Anna Louise. I think it's Charleen, Anna Louise, that everyone knows me. So.
All right. Well, she and I would like for you to join us in aligning with the energies of co-creation so that this show gives you the best information to your highest good and best outcome. And I welcome you, Charleen. It's so nice to have you on the phone show, all of it.
Thank you so much, and I'm so happy to be on your show. It's taken 2 years. We've been trying to arrange this, and it's all about divine timing, and I'm here now, so I'm very happy and grateful.
Absolutely. For those of you who may not know Charleen, in the last 3 years, she has discovered that we are much more than a body, and my longtime listeners are rolling their eyes because they know what I'm going to say. We are, in fact, multidimensional spirit beings of light, and that we are very powerful. Earth is ascending, and humanity is ascending from a third dimension frequency, rising up to a fourth and fifth dimension. Charleen was awakened by the Archangels who came to her 3 years ago. And that's what we're going to talk about today, this awakening, this ascension, all of this stuff that's happening to us that have a lot of us scratching our heads going, what in the heck's happening to us? So, Charleen, welcome. I am so glad that you're here to help get this straight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, my awakening was quite intense and pretty much overnight, if I have to be honest with you.
Oh, my goodness.
There was, I'm sure many people can resonate with this. I went through most of my life not knowing who I was, why I was here, but I knew there was something deeper to understand about the world and about what's going on. But it was actually a week before my awakening is when it really got intense, and I just went into a place of darkness. And it was when I put a call out on Facebook. Actually, it was kind of a help, like who knows about super sensitive people? Because at that time, that's what I thought I was. I thought I was just a super sensitive person because everybody was saying to me, oh, you're too sensitive, and this drove me around the bend after a while. But that week I became super sensitive. I started to read energies and feel energies and emotions, and I didn't understand this because I knew nothing spiritual at all. I didn't even know about angels apart from myths and things like that, so I was completely asleep to all of this.
Wow.
But in that week I did a lot of crying, and I didn't understand why I was crying. And I went into a place of darkness, and then I put this sign out, and I got a reply from a lady called Joyce Graham. And so, hi, Joyce.
She's been on the show before. My listeners know her well.
Oh, yeah, she's been a mentor for me for 3 years now, so she's an amazing lady. But she actually privately emailed me and pretty much said straight away that I need to really call upon the angels and to do a meditation. And she told me what I was. She said that I was going to be clairvoyant, I was going to be a medium, I was going to be this, that. And you can imagine how my mind was at that time. I was just like overwhelmed by all of this. The thought of seeing a spirit kind of freaked me out a little bit.
I can understand that.
It's kind of, strange now I'm doing the work. But yeah, and that was the day that I did that. I laid on my living room floor. I was by myself. I made sure that I had the house to myself. And I laid down, and I just called upon Archangel Michael, and I felt really embarrassed as well. And I remember this day really well. I was not comfortable with it. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just, okay, if you're real, please come to me. That's the day it started. They came to me 100% into the room, and all I can say is that it felt like a laser of energy just going up and down my whole being, and it was removing this. All I can say is like this depression, this pain, this sorrow, everything that I'd built up from probably many past lives, and this was just removed. It was removed like that. It's as instant as that. And I remember sitting up, and my heart chakra had opened. So Archangel Michael opened my heart chakra, and I remember this beam of light just coming out from all directions. And I just sat there afterwards and cried for 3 hours, just thinking to myself, how do I explain this to my partner? Because something I knew at that point that this was not of this world. And I thought, am I going crazy? And I really thought I was, to be honest with you, because I had nobody around me explaining that. I didn't know anybody spiritual. So I thought maybe I was ill, because each day got stronger and stronger. Archangel Raphael, Samuel, they all started just coming. And I remember seeing these beings in my room, and I thought I'd got a brain tumor.
Oh, gosh.
So I went to the doctors. I mean, I did, seriously, because I thought something was pressing on something, and maybe I was hallucinating and seeing things. So, but it got stronger and stronger. They started guiding me to the information to help me to understand about who I was and why I was here. And Joyce played a big part in that, because each time something happened, she'd be the first person that I would say, oh my gosh, this just happened, and she accepted me. She allowed me to express my experiences. And I think it's really important that when we go through an awakening, we are around people that understand, because if not, you will feel like you're going crazy.
I hear that from a lot of people. I truly do. And I remember as I started to wake up, I had the same thoughts. It's like, am I really hearing this? Am I really feeling this? Why am I feeling this so intensely? So I can understand what you're saying.
I mean, one of the feelings that I remember having from the beginning, and even right up to this day, is the overwhelming feeling of gratitude. I've never felt such gratitude for something that I never understood. It was just beaming out of me, and I would just cry, but I didn't really know why I was crying. Actually,
been there, done that.
I probably did look crazy looking back, because I'd be just crying anyway. I'd be tears everywhere. But I did a lot of crying, because now I know what that was. It was releasing. Mm-hmm. They was bringing everything up to the surface to be released, allowing me to anchor this light that's coming in. So they activated me. I ascended and embodied my higher self, and I did everything naturally. So they kind of fast tracked me. So I was able to be there for the people that are now going through it, and they need somebody to help them. So they really did fast track me.
That fast track thing is very interesting to me. I stumbled into my awakening, kicking and screaming the whole way, not understanding, not really wanting to, trying to fight it, and you just can't. Once you're chosen to wake up, you're going to wake up. And the fast track sounds easier in some ways and harder in others. I can't imagine having it all dumped on me at once, but what I have discovered is, as I have said, okay, fine, I'm not going to swim upstream anymore, do with me what you want to, the track has gotten faster and faster, but the thing is, I'm understanding it quicker and quicker also. And I think that initial understanding and that initial embracing that this is not a brain tumor or that you've lost your mind or something, and to sit back and allow it to happen is one of the biggest obstacles that we have in this particular process.
Absolutely. In fact, Chessie, the embracing it for me was really easy, actually. Obviously, the first couple of weeks was a bit weird. I mean, I'm not going to lie. A few nosebleeds as I was ascending to those higher frequencies. But and I'm not lying. I had many nosebleeds. That's one of my symptoms that I had. But once I remembered, so it wasn't about me learning. It was about me remembering. And I remembered very quickly who I was. And once all this information started downloading into me, I literally embraced it so much. And I can't even tell you how powerful I feel about it. I would literally live in a cave for the rest of my life to be able to do what I'm doing and to know what I know. Nobody on this planet could change my mind. I've experienced too much and I've seen too much, and I'm very blessed for that, you know.
I understand. Let me ask you about downloads for a minute.
Yes.
One of the things that I discovered was that they'll come at night and I can't sleep through them. And so what I had to do was ask my angels and my guides, please, to dial it back or give me more strength to handle it, which they did, and I got through it. But this last month of the last year, December of 2014, seems like everybody that I know has just been sick as a dog. And I ask about that because I got sick before Thanksgiving and didn't get well again, and I'm not quite all the way well till right before Christmas. And they told me it's because of this DNA change, of this purging, of this cleansing that we're all going through. And I got to tell you, it's just real unpleasant. Have you experienced that, or am I barking up the wrong tree here?
And more, and more.
All right,
that's
then.
my favourite subject now. I'm a little bit of a geek. Actually, when it comes to DNA, I'm not going to lie, I'm not a scientist, okay? But I have had, in the last few weeks, quite a lot of downloads and information about our DNA. And you're absolutely bang on with this. This is exactly what's going on right now. We're really, it's like... there's a light, there's an energy coming into the planet, and if you imagine, for most people that are in a three-dimensional world, I'll talk about that in a minute and explain what that is. But
okay.
for the normal human that is living in a three-dimensional plane, with their blocked heart chakras and they're not awakened, this energy that's coming in, it should naturally go into our crown chakras. It should go into our soul. It should activate us naturally. We should be ascending naturally, but we're not, because of the planet's changed. There's so many corruptions and there's all sorts of things going on with the planet it's just changed. It's not the way it should have been many years ago. So people now are struggling to ascend. So they're fighting what they should be doing. They're resisting. They don't even know they're resisting. So this light is trying to come in. They're resisting the light, and it's making them go back into this lower vibration. And what's happening is the body is becoming sick because it needs the light. Our souls need the food. That is what we live on. We live on this light. It's the universal energy of life. And without it, we kind of suffer. And that's what's going on right now. People are having naturally activating in their DNA, and some people are going out looking for people to activate their DNA because they're struggling, and some people are not aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I did was, when I got so sick, I wasn't really truly understanding why I'd gotten sick. I don't get sick. And so I sat down and said, hey, guys, what's going on? And that's basically what they told me. So I said, okay, fine, I am going to allow this. I'm going to align with this frequency of cleansing or whatever it is you're doing. I'm just going to let you guys take it on. And what bothered me about it, in my three-dimensional little mind, because it slips back every once in a while, my biology gets in the way, and I asked them, why is this taking so long? And they said, well, you think you're allowing, but you're not quite. So I'd have to go through the allowing process over and over and over again. And every time I did, I got better and better and better. So this allowing is extremely important in this particular aspect of it, yes?
For me, it's 100% important. And many people, they think that they are allowing, because I've got many clients who are in this situation. They're doing everything that they think that they're doing right. They're talking with the angels, they're meditating, they're cleansing, they're doing everything, but something's missing. They're not getting to the place they want to be. And that definitely comes down to the fact that maybe consciously they think that they're allowing, but subconsciously they're not ready. And there's many reasons for that.
That subconscious thing, sometimes I wish I could just turn it off, but I know it's part of the growth process, and you have to kind of get through that to get where you're going to be.
See, I love my subconscious. If I feel like I'm whole, I feel like I'm really tapping into my subconscious mind now, and that's what this is what the ascension is about. I mean, the ascension is basically we're just moving up the dimensional scale of our frequency. We're ascending, we have to open up, we have to raise our frequencies. It's a shift in our consciousness, which is occurring right now. And for us to actually shift that consciousness into a higher frequency, there's so many things that we have to do that. We have to work on our chakras. We have to do affirmations, change our thoughts. The list goes on. Meditations, working with the angels, and also having faith and prayer and allowing, like you said, because people are still fighting with the fear and the ego. And I'm being told this all the time from angels, from the spirit that are with me. The ego and the fear are our worst enemies, really. we need them. We need them, but we need to be the master of them. And that's what I did. It took me a year, but I became the master of my own ego and my fear. And it's very, very difficult, because the fear will definitely try to stop you from ascending. It doesn't want you to be in that place of enlightenment. you know, so we have to be aware of that. We have to always be on check. If you're serious about ascending, if you're serious about your journey, about your path, then it takes a bit of work. It's not just, okay, I want to ascend, go to sleep, and then wake up and you've ascended. It's not that way. I wish it was. I really wish everybody could go to bed tonight and wake up enlightened. But there's a journey, and everybody's journey takes time, because we have less. And they're all different. And they're all different. Like my journey, I know who I am 100%. I know where my soul is from. I know what my mission is. I know why I'm here. I know everything. But it took me a good 2 years of working on myself, and I left my life behind to follow this path. I really did. I took it very serious because it's in me. It's like part of me.
I have to tell you something that happened while you were talking about allowing the light to come in. I'm in my living room and I'm looking down a dark hallway, and when you said you have to allow the light to come in, a bright pinpoint of white light shot from my ceiling down the wall through the floor. Beautiful. Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, you know, with the light, I mean, it's when you experience this, and it's what I really wish I could just magically allow everyone to experience this right now, because when you really embody the higher self, when you become the highest Christ consciousness, you're in line with God's source. When that moment happens, and that happened to me, and it happens to me every single day, when that happens, your life changes. You can never go back. It's the most beautiful experience that you can experience. It is pure bliss. It is pure love. And you just feel like nothing can ever hurt you again. No matter what happens, you're always safe in this bubble of light. It's beautiful, and that's where I got to. I worked really hard, but to get to that I had to clear myself. So I had to in fact, actually, I wrote on this down here because I've been designing a chart which I'm going to publish soon, but until then I've got the list, and I divided it into 2 columns, because what I found with the Ascension is that we have column 1, which is Ascension Symptoms, and then we have column 2, which is soul healing. And what I mean by that is people right now, they're going through an overdose of extreme emotions and symptoms and releasing. And if you don't know what you're going through, if you don't know what this is, you can think you're really ill. Seriously, you'd be going to the doctors every day, because it's crazy. You know, we have to go through so much. And just, I was going to backtrack to the dimensions because I don't want people to get confused. But the third dimension, that people that are not awakened, people that are just living with their 10% conscious mind, that's the place that we're trying to get away from. So we're ascending from that low frequency of pain and misery and materialism, and you know, all those denser frequencies. The denser frequencies, yes. And when we start ascending, what we're doing is we're actually ascending into a 4th dimension first. So our aim is to become into the 5th and higher, but we have to go through the 4th. There's no way you can get to the 5th without going through a transition. So we have to move through a transition into the 4th dimension. Now, this is, for me, Chessie, this is the most important thing that everybody needs to know. This 4th dimension is the hardest bit. It's the stepping stones to the light that you want to be. But we have to go through so many releases. And I'm talking about people have past life issues, karmic imprints to release. They have emotional baggage, which is the emotion code, which I know you've had on your show with Joyce Graham. Right. I do the emotion code as well. We have the releasing, we have the opening of the heart chakra. It's so important. If that heart chakra is not open, people cannot ascend to that higher level. That's the most important chakra. It's the key. You know?
That's where your lower chakras balance with your upper ones, and then you can travel higher. That balance in the 4th chakra is something I talk about a lot.
It's so important. I can't, you know, every single spiritual teacher teaches about the end, you know, the main point of everybody's teachings comes down to one big fat love art representing love. Okay, and that's what it is. It's the 4th chakra. When people think, because an example, you know, I've got clients who are, they're very loving and they're caring and they're beautiful people, but they're not ascending to the way they want to be because their heart chakras are not activated fully, but they think they are, but they're not, because when that fully activates, you will know. You will know.
What I find with my students and clients in this particular subject is that they confuse physical love with the unconditional love of the fourth chakra.
Yes.
And I think that trips up a lot of people because they're feeling the physical love for someone that's in the second chakra, but they aren't to that unconditional love of the fourth chakra. And because of that, they're still in judgment, they're still in denial, they're still in all of these lower chakra issues that we have to climb through.
Yeah.
And when you do hit that fourth chakra, like you said, you know, because you start to feel love for everything and everyone, and it's amazing.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you know, the reason why I always talk about multidimensional beings is because we are multidimensional. We are part of everything. You know, everything in the universe is made up of atoms and cells and everything, like plants, trees, even this computer that I'm on now is made up of God's energy. I mean, we all come from the same thing. And what's happened with me is I've become to such a heightened state of enlightenment that I can put my consciousness into things. I can speak with trees. Now I sound crazy.
No, I do it all the time.
I can speak and I get an answer. I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, I literally feel the love from the tree coming into my energy field. I do it with everything. I can feel the love from everything because everything comes from one place, and that's that vibration of love. And this is what being a multidimensional being is. Once we escape from our 10% conscious mind and expand that and start going into the rest, and we start to discover and uncover the magic of what really is out there, oh my gosh, it's just the most amazing feeling. I mean, I can just ride the waves on this energy for like ever. Seriously. I gave up drinking as soon as I started getting this energy. I didn't need to drink anymore. I didn't need alcohol because it didn't do nothing for me. This is my drink.
I hear you.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Well, what I've discovered is as we rise and as we raise these frequencies and we come out of the denseness of this third dimension that you were talking about, these things fall away. You don't need television. This is much more entertaining. You don't need drama because it's just wasted energy. We don't need drugs and alcohol and shopping frenzies and all that sort of thing. And it really hit home for me this Christmas. Christmas has always been a very special time of year for me, and it still is. But this year, my husband and I just weren't interested in the third dimension aspect of this holiday.
I'm with you on that one.
And we decided we were going to have an Usmas instead of a Christmas. And we just kind of kept to ourselves, and we did everything we needed to do. We didn't bother with decorating or anything like that, and we didn't even miss it. And we embraced our crystals and the energies and all that sort of thing. And it was the most delightful, peaceful, loving thing to do. And I had to kind of sit back. You know, you're talking about two columns. Well, I have my biology and then I have my spirit self. And my spirit self likes to sit back and watch my biology sometimes. And my biology was just amazed at the fact that none of this mattered. You know, I didn't weep over the lost traditions. I didn't worry about hustle and bustle and running around and all these things that we do because it's not important. The only thing that was...
How good do you feel?
Amazing. Just amazing. And it was just so like a weight had been taken away. And
well, I'll tell you how much I am into my work spiritually. I chose this Christmas day to spend it with spirit, and I was on my own, and I spoke for 3 hours with God's source, and I just let this light run through my body. I spent time on myself and spent time with the spirit and my guides and the angels because I love being around them, and sometimes I struggle to kind of divide my life a little bit. I do like being with spirit a lot. I do.
No, I understand that.
That's so amazing that you experienced that. And about the, leaving the three-dimensional world behind, what we do is, this is where it gets difficult, because you're actually going into the fourth dimension here. So what we start to do is, people who don't know what this is, they don't know what ascension is or evolving is, they start to lose identity of themselves, okay? Mm-hmm. So they start to, everything that they once knew, and I know this because I've experienced it, everything that you once thought you knew starts to crumble away right before your eyes. Everything that you once enjoyed, the people, the places, like you said, TV, papers,
food,
everything,
even changes. Food changes, yeah.
Everything starts to just crumble away. And what I'm finding is, a lot of people that are coming to me from all around the world is that they're confused because they don't recognize who they are anymore, and they haven't found the new person quite yet. So what they're doing is they're in between. So I call this in limbo. So they're in between dimensions. They're leaving the third. They haven't got to the fourth properly, and they're literally just stuck in a position where they're freaked out to the point where a lot of souls on the planet right now are deciding to leave the planet. This is why I want to do these workshops, the talking about this, writing this book, because I'm here to not just help people ascend, but my main job that I've chosen to do in this lifetime is help the light workers, the indigos, the star seeds. I'm here to help the ones that purely made a contract to come here and help Earth ascend and anchor light on this planet, but until they awaken, they're lost. And it's very important for them to have knowledge and have somebody that sets off their alarm, wakes them up.
I understand that.
Because many of these are definitely leaving the planet. I know of 2 suicides this year already. Last year, because they couldn't cope with the energy anymore. They just didn't belong on the planet, and they didn't know anybody and what to do. And this is why it's really important, because once a light worker, starseed, indigo, etc., wakes up, bam, they're so powerful, and they bring such a light to the planet. Once they fully get it, they shine like bright stars, and we need them.
Well, let me ask you something here, Charleen. As you hit this awakening and you feel the power and you surge with it and you glow with it, did you in your awakening have any time when it seemed to fade?
Absolutely, yes. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. Honestly, there was one moment, I remember it very clearly. I was going through different, when we ascend, we go through different levels. So each time I would get a little bit higher, and then my ego and my fear would come in and try and stop me. And then I'd go a little bit higher because I was so into my work. And I was like, I call myself like a geeky pupil student. I was like the teacher's pet. I do everything that I get told to do, I do it. And but there was one particular day, and it lasted a week, and this darkness came upon me. It really was dark, and I felt suicidal, and I'd been in that place 7 years ago, and I remember being very desperate, and I thought, I'm going to actually take my life. So it did. I did come to a place throughout my awakening where I did consider leaving the planet. I am a starseed, and that's what we do. We find it hard to be here, So and it was a friend actually in Scotland. Robbie McKenzie is a great author of channeled a book by Metatron, but he's the one that helped me that day with that. He told me to stand in my power, and that's what it was. I was not standing in my power, and I really feel like I've been tested to stand in my power, and that was very trying. But once I did it, I did a meditation. Actually, it was in the bath with sea salt and candles. I did the full caboodle, and I brought God's energy in and all the angels, and I just said, I am powerful. It was the words. It's about what you use in your thoughts and your words. It's so important. When you start to doubt yourself and you start to think you are not worthy of being who you are on this planet, and you start telling yourself that, you just really creating a bit of a mess for yourself. It's really important that we do affirmations, and we steer with the thoughts, and we project very, very powerful thoughts out to the universe on our awakening. It's very important.
One of my favorite quotes, and it's mine, is, as I think, so I am. As I feel, so I manifest. As I share, so I evolve. As I rise, so I live. I am limitless. I am.
beautiful. I love stuff I do things like this every day. I'm just obsessed because I know the power of it, and I know, I know how it affects the human body, and how it affects our ascension, and it just gives us pure joy and confidence to do our work, and that's what we need to concentrate on, really.
On a bit of a scientific level here, I'm going to add that it also changes your brain chemistry. And that changes your
brain cells.
body chemistry. Well, as you say these affirmative words, you take away the icky stuff that's being pumped into your body.
Yeah.
There's a word that I have taken totally out of my lexicon. I call it the H word, and it's hate. Because every time you bring this in, and Dr. Emoto of Hidden Messages in Water showed this, every time you bring this into your thoughts, it creates those chemicals that cascade through your body, causing icky stuff, and that's a very scientific term. You might need to look it up.
Well, you're on my wavelength here.
Yeah, what's going on in there? And when you change these thoughts, and my longtime listeners and students and clients, they all know this is a real hot button for me. As you change these thoughts to a more powerful and positive, affirmative process, you create these changes within your body, and this will raise you up so fast it'll make your head swim.
It is. It's unbelievable. I'm all about the power of the mind. I'm still, even though I've become I've embodied my higher self, and I've become this enlightened species. I like to call myself another star system. I'm still learning, and I love to learn. We're always learning, and for me, not many people know this. In fact, this is the first time that I've actually mentioned this to anybody apart from family and close friends. But I'm dyslexic, and not many people know that.
Oh, because, I am too.
And I had trouble all through my life with this, and I remember saying to the angels, why can't you just do something with my brain? Can't you just activate the left side of my brain and make it just really brainy? Because I want to be able to, I really wanted to be able to teach scientifically. I had this passion to be like all the great teachers out there, scientific words and big words. And then they told me something. They said that the people that are guided towards me, they are also on the same kind of wavelength as me. So I'm not saying they're all dyslexic, but what I'm saying is a lot of them, they're going to turn away when they see something about what they're going through in scientific terms. A lot of them are just turning the computer off or turning the book. They don't want to get into it because it's too complicated to understand. Mm-hmm. So I thought, okay, so what they're doing through me is they're allowing me to give more basic and simple explanations. So my book's going to be very easy to read, and people, it's going to be able to help people, and they're going to get it. They're going to feel it because it's from my heart, and it's from my experiences.
You want to hear something funny? That's exactly what they told me when I asked the same question.
Yeah, and then I bet they told you this as well. They said to me, I said, I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer. I didn't want to write a book. I said, I'm not a writer. And they said, no, you're not. And I was like, thanks. And they said, you're a messenger. And I was like, wow. Oh, I'd rather be a messenger than a writer. It's brilliant. I'm happy with that. I'm fine. So that's what we are. We're messengers. We're conduits. And you know something? I'm so blessed. I don't care about being dyslexic. It's not preventing me from doing what I want to do. I'm doing my book. I'm writing music. I'm doing workshops. There's so much happening because I'm allowing it. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying like the old me would say, I can't do this because I'm too thick, or I can't do this because I'm not great with numbers, or this or that. What's happening is I'm saying, you know something, I can do anything I want. I can do anything I want, and I'm really powerful, and I've just allowed myself to be a conduit, and they're working through me, and that's the way it works.
I've discovered the same little niche here. Once I said, okay, fine, if this is what you want me to do, just point me in the right direction, pull the trigger, and I'm on it.
Yeah,
and I don't even ask how anymore. I just go do it.
And Chessie, I'm a really quiet person, and I know people that are going to hear this are going to laugh, especially my friends and family. But I'm kind of a person that would like to work behind the scenes. So I'd like to write and have somebody work and do everything. Okay, so I'm very private, and I don't like to be around a lot of people. I prefer to spend time with a tree sometimes. I really do, because feel close with all the atoms and cells of the universe. It's just part of I just feel connected in such a big way that I wouldn't choose to ever go out and teach and do workshops and be in front of big audiences. But you know something, when you sign a contract before you come here to do a job, there's no way getting out of it.
No, that's true, because that's what I did. I told them, no, I'm not going to be a teacher. No, I'm not going to be a minister. Yeah. No, I'm not going to be a writer. And the universe says, guess what?
I mean, I said, I don't want to be, Joyce Graham said, oh, you're going to do mediumship. And I said, no, I'm not. And I remember being in the bath that night thinking to myself, I really don't want this, angels. I don't mind doing the angel stuff, but I don't want to do any spirit stuff because I don't want to see a spirit. And you know something? I can't tell you how much I love helping spirit. When I did my first soul crossing, when I helped the first ever soul to the light, I cried for about 2 hours. I could not believe the way I felt. It was like this. I've done this before so many lifetimes. It was just part of my job. And this is what I do. I do a lot of clearing up on the planet. So there's a lot of earthbound souls, and I do a lot of work with this, and I'm clearing buildings and old buildings, war sites, battle sites.
I do that too.
You know, and it's so important. And
I want to ask you right here, when you're doing this, do you have times when they tell you, no, you can't do that tonight, we want you to rest?
Not really, no. I don't like resting when it comes to spiritual work.
Well, see, I don't either, but I actually made my biology ill by working too hard, and they kind of keep a lid on me, and I'm not really sure why that happens, because I'm working in spirit, not in biological terms, but sometimes I try to go too far and do too much. Is that even possible when you get where you're, we'll say, to the fourth dimension?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You know something, everybody's different because, you know, some people are really natural at this. Some people are just naturally activated and they don't even know they've activated. They don't even know their heart's been activated and they're open to channel. And they're, you know, there's many people walking around now and they have no idea. They're doing it so naturally. I meet them all the time. I'm like, do you know you're channeling right now? You're giving me a message from God and it's coming straight through you. I can see it. I can see the white light because I physically see now, so that I feel blessed again. My vision has been upgraded, but that I can see the light of God's source coming straight down into their crown and coming straight out of their mouth. They're actually channeling and they don't even know it. Some people are just, it amazes me because wherever I go, the angels and God's source and the spirit guides, they sometimes channel through people to give me messages. And I find that really amazing. I love it. And I'll just say, do you know you've just been channeled? And it's like, what's that mean? They have no idea. They have no idea. And I'm like, okay. But, you know, I do see a lot now. And I just see a lot. It's just amazing, Chessie. When you wake up in the morning surrounded by violet flame and the blue cosmic Christ flame and the energies, and it's just, you know, life's interesting.
I don't see that all the time, but I feel it all the time.
Yeah, I have both, and but I asked for it, so you know, be careful what you ask for.
Oh yeah.
Everyone that's listening to this, please, if you really want to ascend and you want to see the angels and you want to feel the angels and spirit, just know in your heart if you really do want that, because once you do go to that level, it changes.
Don't go back.
And I've had many people, they came to a workshop and they wanted to see spirit and connect to spirit. And they were saying, please activate my third eye, activate this, activate that. And I said, no. I said, if I do that, and then I said, what happens if a spirit shows up in your room? What are you going to do? They said, I'll be scared. I said, then you're not ready. You're not ready. You know, because that's what's going to happen. They show up. They're like, it's just unbelievable, and you have to be ready. It takes certain people for this. I really believe that.
Oh, I was in the kitchen day before yesterday, cleaning up in there, and all of a sudden I realized, I didn't see him, but I feel more than I see, like I said. I realized my father was with me. My father's been long gone, and he has not come back for a visit, so that was a little shocking. And I said, hi, why are you here? And he said, I've come to check up on you.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, they do it all the time.
Well, I asked him, I said, what are you checking for? He said, I want to know if you're ready to do your next thing. And I said, what is that? And he said, well, I can't tell you that, but are you ready? And I said, well, absolutely, I'm ready. Because like you, I just do what I'm told. And I look for the next thing, and I embrace it and do it with all my heart. And he said, okay. He said, I was afraid that you weren't ready. And I said, what gave you that idea? He said, it was just a feeling that I had. And I said, well, thank you for coming. Stay as long as you want. I love having you here. You feel wonderful. But I'm ready for whatever they want me to do. And he says, all right, I'm going to tell them that. And I'm thinking, well, they probably already know it, but I'm glad you came to ask. And he was gone, and he hasn't come back. So I don't know what this thing is, but I do know that it's big and that it's coming and that I'm ready for it, whatever it is.
And that's what I know.
And that's
when
exciting.
I'm ready for the next, because I get not impatient. I used to be impatient, but they told me off for that, so I stopped doing that. But everything is divine timing, so I now trust. I trust everything is about divine timing.
Absolutely.
That's why I trust, like, now's the right time. It wasn't right 2 years ago.
No.
I would have been talking about the angels, which is amazing. I love the angels. I work with them every single day, but that wasn't the message that they want me to talk about, and I have to just honor and trust what they want. But that's what it is. When I get to a point where I am ready for the next level, I feel it. I feel like I'm getting a bit, not depressed, but I feel a bit stuck. I'm like, okay, nothing's happening, and I get a bit frustrated because I have so much to give and I have so much to talk about, and then I'll go in meditation and I'll say, right, please, please, please activate me more, do what you have to do. And then it happens. I'll wake up the next day, and, like, for instance, 2 days ago, I'm walking in the park, and I've never had such a download. DNA, and then the download, design a chart. I'm designing a chart that represents raising the frequencies through the DNA. I'm channeling codes. I'm channeling light language. I'm doing so many higher things that are from outside our planet, which will be in the book, because it's very hard to explain some of the things that I've been downloading. But it's really, really amazing. And then as soon as I get the download, I'm just like, I'm overwhelmed. And that's one of the things that I find, like, the first time I felt my higher self, I burst into tears. I'm a crier. I cry all the time at everything, because I'm just like, I'm so grateful to be able to discover this again in this lifetime. I've probably gone many, many lifetimes waiting for this. And I know my soul knows that it's important, which brings me to higher self.
Let me ask you a question before you go there. As you were talking, I have the intense need to ask you if light workers work on different levels even as they ascend. And I think what I mean by that is, do some of us stay at maybe a lower frequency as a conduit? As people rise, they can go through us to the next level? Or do we all head for the same height of resonance? Or how does that work? Do you know?
Well, our main purpose is to all raise to the highest. So that's our main purpose. But it all comes to about allowing and what we choose. So some light workers, for instance, light workers come in all forms, right? So somebody who is an incarnated angel, like Earth Angels, Joyce Graham. I love talking about Joyce. Hi, Joyce. I just love her so much. They're light workers. Then you've got light workers who work as firemen, ambulance drivers, doctors and nurses. They're all doing light work, even though some of them have kind of gone off the path a little bit. That's another show. But but they come in all forms. And I think with light workers, there's all different types. There really is, because you've got star seeds as well, which are light workers, and they come from different places, and they come for specific jobs, like indigos. They're like warriors. So you've got your indigo light worker warrior. I'm an indigo, so I will die for my job. I come here to do a specific job, a mission, and at whatever cost that is. So if I have to go back home next year, that's so be it. I don't have fear about that. Nothing fears me about that. I didn't come here to have a family or children. I don't have any of that. I come here with a specific job, and you're either with me or you're in my way. And that's why I'm so focused. I'm like, nobody get in my way, And that's the way it is. Where you've got light workers who are just here to anchor light. They're just here to have a family and to be married and bring in the new children and to just anchor light through love frequency. So it all depends on, the light workers that are just here to anchor light and to be happy and love people and share love. They might stay in a lower frequency. They might not want to embody their higher self all the way through the dimensions, 15-dimensional to the top and become avatars on Earth. I mean, that's not what they want. Whereas me, I'm quite happy to go all the way and become an avatar. Seriously, I'm just like, take me on the ride, and I want to just experience as much as I can in my ascension and teach what I know. And that's, all different levels.
I was getting a mental picture while you were talking. That's how they talk to me a lot, of a funnel. Apparently I'm a funnel.
That's what we are, yeah.
And one of my things that I started saying as I started to awaken is, I am the energy of creation. I'm its vessel and its conduit. And apparently that's what my job is, to funnel all this information out and spray it out to the world as much as I can. Apparently that's why I do the show.
That's exactly what you're doing. And honestly, you're going to get a lot higher as well. I've been told that to tell you by the angels. So you're actually, you've actually got a career advancement coming this year. So
wow.
Whatever
Cool.
you're doing, radio or your book or whatever you're doing with this work, you're going to be acknowledged for it by others in a successful way. So you're actually, even though you are now, it's going to be raised up a frequency. So you're actually going to be going higher in your work.
Good, because I really want to get this message to everybody. It's not about fame. It's not about fortune. It's about getting the message from out there to in here.
And this situation that's going to take off for you is actually going to make your heart flutter in really big ways. I mean, it's going to be like you're going to feel so in love with this project or situation. You're going to be like really swept off your feet with it, So, and it's coming. I've been told to tell you that. So be prepared for a shift.
Thank you.
It's going to be a shift for you, and it's going to take you into a wider audience,
Excellent. I'm all for that.
We need you, Chessie. We need you because, without you, I'm not getting my message across. And, when this goes on YouTube, many people can listen to it. And, by you doing this, you're also probably saving lives. You're helping people through the ascension. It's sacred work,
It feels that way to me. When I made the decision to shift over to YouTube, it was not an easy decision for me. I was used to having the backing of a network. I was used to having all the production facilities and all that take care of things for me. And what happened when I made the decision to go ahead and go to YouTube, I sort of didn't see it coming. Before I did it, I asked my husband if his company, Cat's Eye Productions, would help produce the show. And without batting an eye, he said, certainly, I've just been waiting for you to ask. And that just thrilled me because it was one of those, I'm not going to call it a stumbling block, but it was one of those fear-based things that I hadn't quite let go of before. And as we've been talking about for the entire show, is that when you decide to embrace your next best thing, the universe makes it happen in spectacular ways.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
That was just heartwarming for me because he works nights. So that was an amazing commitment for him to say, yes, I'll produce the show. So thank you to my husband and
thank you.
Everybody at Cat's Eye Productions. And I'm just thrilled about it. So I can feel this advancement and this next step up happening as we speak about it.
It's manifestation. And the thing is, as you raise your frequency and consciousness, what you're doing then is it's even more important that you think about what you think. So this is why I am constantly, before I speak, I think about it now, because I think, oh my gosh, I don't want to create something, because the higher we become, the faster it is.
Absolutely.
So like when you're in a 3D, it might take longer for that manifestation to happen, whereas when you're in 4th, 5th and above, you're going to think about it, and 2 days later it might happen. So we have to be very, very mindful and aware of our thoughts and our actions, and that's what spiritually ascending is all about. If you're going to go through this and not care, then it could be a bit of a bumpy ride.
what I do in this particular aspect of things is I ask guidance to tell me what to think. I don't try to formulate anything anymore because it's just easier to let them drive the bus. And it's not a submissive thing. It's a very empowering thing. It's a very uplifting thing when you let go, and they say this in AA, let go and let God. And I fought against that for years because it just sounded so hokey, but it's so true. Because when you can let go of all your preconceived notions and your ideas of what you think you're supposed to be doing and what you think's supposed to be happening and how you think it's supposed to happen, and open yourself to what's really going on, you find out it's much better than anything you ever thought of.
Yeah, and that's the hardest bit of the transition. A lot of people really struggle with this. I did. I'm not going to lie. I'm not this.
I did too.
I'm not this perfect being, that I like to think I am. I'm joking. No. But when I was living with my ex-partner, who is an amazing person, he's an amazing soul. But when you ascend, my frequency, vibration, we wasn't harmonizing anymore. We were just literally wasn't in sync at all. He was still in 3D and I was up in 5th, and what happened was it just made it difficult for me to be around him. Not because I didn't love him. I love him and I'll always love him, but I had to leave him because it made me sick. The frequency was pulling me back into a 3D, and it's not a place that I can be anymore because it makes me sick. Mm-hmm. So I decided, I asked the angels and spirit, and I remember the day that I asked, what do you want me to do? And they said, leave everything. Just, leave everything. My job, I was in London, my job, my partner, my home. And it took me 6 months, by the way, to make that decision. It wasn't something I just said, okay, yes. I said to them, okay, I get it. I get the message, but I have to do it my way. And the more I stayed, the more I became sick. And I really did become sick. I got bone pains, muscle pains. I was getting depressed, and I wasn't in sync. I wasn't in line with my higher self, and this is why I had to walk away. So although I still love him and is an amazing person, I have to respect what I know, and I'd be kind of not being true to myself. It's that
airplane thing again that I bring up so often. You're on a plane. They say if the cabin loses pressure, put the oxygen on yourself and then help the person next to you, and that's what you have to do. Yes. Charleen, it has been absolutely wonderful having you with me, and believe it or not, our hours are up.
That's gone just too fast. It's just ridiculous. Same time tomorrow night.
Yeah, we're going to have to do this again. What I'd like for you to do before I wrap with you is please leave our listeners with a salient point that you want them to remember if they don't remember anything else we've talked about. What's that one thing you want them to hang on to?
I've got just a little message from God's source, actually, because I now directly speak with the intelligence, and it's just unbelievable. And one of the messages that is the most important right now is to connect with your higher self and to activate the heart chakra. These two things. When I say connect to your higher self, it took me 1.5 years to understand what my higher self was, by the way. I just thought, higher self, what's that, But it's actually an extension of us, and it's very beautiful. We need to connect with it because we will get pure guidance. And if people can email me, I can show them and to tell them how to connect and to have an experience with your higher self, because we haven't got time today.
Yeah,
but
please
if we had time, I would have taken you through a meditation with it, because it's so beautiful, and there's a technique to feel.
Please give your contact information so everybody can get hold of you, and I will post it in the advert for the show, so it'll get out there.
Okay, so my website is wtbangels.com, and my Facebook is Walk, Talk, Breathe Angels. But if you're going to put the links onto your site as well,
I will.
Yes, and if people, when they go to my website, everything's on the homepage. My Facebook pages, my everything that they need to know about me is there. If they contact me, I only touched a tiny little molecule of what really.
Oh, honey, you're coming back. We're talking about this some more.
So if anyone is stuck, then they can contact me and I can help them. And I'm doing webinars and workshops. So, you know, it's all about Ascension, angels, and DNA activations and all that stuff. It's going to be a really good year.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again for being here. Don't hang up. I'll talk to you some more on the flip side of this. But I want to thank.
Coming out. I have a
I'm
book.
so, oh, I didn't know that. Yes, please. What's your book?
Oh, it's called You're More Than Just a Body, obviously, and it will be out this year. If they go on my website, keep in contact with me. We'll do something again when it comes out if you want.
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, I want to thank all of you for joining me for the show. If you'd like to send in a question or a suggestion for a topic that you'd like for me to cover on the show, please send your question, your suggestion, or your request to me at Chessie@ChessieRoberts.com. You can find all of my information at ChessieRoberts.com, all of my classes and services and projects. My music is at ArchersMeadow.com, and my book is on Amazon.com. Thank you all for listening. Please come back anytime to hear Get on the Grid with Chessie Roberts. Have a great week, bright blessings, and have an awesome day.